Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Anime Dudes podcast, where we totally were drinking water when we started filming this podcast.
Sorry, I said three. I said three, and then I thought it would give me a countdown, but it didn't.
Hey, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I don't think nobody noticed. It's all good. It's all good. But anyway, welcome to the Anime Dudes podcast. My name is Bjorvio, and joining me on today's episode, as always, the incredibly handsome with the face that and voice that defines an entire generation that hasn't even been born yet, and that is
The anime dad, yeah, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you staying on script as well. Because that script's quite important that I wrote earlier today. So I'm glad you got the script and you memorized it. That's great.
yes, Your Highness, you are absolutely right. I stay on script all the time. You are the best and most kind boss ever in the entirety of the world.
I love it. I
Uh,
love it.
But yeah, so if you enjoyed this comedic back and forth that we always have because we're awesome like that, please give us a rating if you haven't already. Spotify really appreciates when you give a rating and leave reviews and all that stuff. And if you haven't already, follow us on our socials on TikTok and Instagram. But before we get into the episode, Anime Dad, I have a warm-up question for you.
I am ready. I am ready, and I'm willing, and I'm waiting, and I'm excited. So, give it to me.
All right. If you had to recommend one opener from My Hero Academia to show to someone who has never seen an anime before and you just wanted them to listen to the music, which opening would you show them?
That's good. That is good. That is really good. I'd show season six, I believe. Season six opening. Um, how does it go again?
The the real upbeat one that starts with the guitar, or the second half one that sounds more I forget who. Yeah, I'm not good at describing things.
That's okay. I know what you mean. But yeah, season six. Um, I think the upbeat one. It's the one where Deku, like the animation changes a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then Deku goes like this, like he smashes things, and then like lightning comes. He didn't smash things. He goes like this, and then lightning, and the Shigaraki and him, and it's like going crazy in that sense. I'd recommend that one, I believe.
Okay, okay. For me personally, I'm stuck between two. Part of me wants to go with Merry-Go-Round, the season five, part two, because a lot of that, about half of it's in English. So if you've never really heard a lot of things in Japanese, that might be a good intro. But the other one I'm considering honestly is Peace Sign, season two, part one.
Yes. Oh, the merry-go-round one we listen to every time. Merry-go-round. Da, 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 da,
Round,
da,
round and
da, da,
around.
da, da, da,
Da,
da,
da,
da.
da, 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 da,
Oh,
da, da.
so good. Yeah, no, it's very, very good. That one's probably very, very catchy as well, and it's so good. Nice that it goes from Japanese to English too. That was a good
Right?
question. That was a really good. All right, well, I gotta open up for you. Okay.
Oh no!
Opening icebreaking question for you as well. So, so if you if you, again similar lines, someone who hasn't watched anime before in their entire lives, they have to watch one scene of My Hero Academia, one scene, and it's probably 10 seconds, or maybe they say 20 seconds or less. What scene would you recommend to them, and why?
Oh, that's hard because I don't want to spoil anything like too significant, but I want to give them something to hold on to. Oh man, that's hard. Um, okay. I'm just gonna go with the first idea I have, and we're gonna roll with it. And it might not be good, but I'm gonna go with it. We're gonna go with the scene where Bakugo gets saved from the League of Villains, where they build the ice slide, and everyone's running. Kirishima's like, "Grab my hand, dude!" I'm gonna go with that one. I don't know why 100%, but I think that captures a lot of the intense moments of My Hero, with a little bit of the comedicness while showing off the powers. Um, is it the best? Probably not, but hey, That's what improv's for. Sometimes you just pull things out your butt and roll with it.
I like that. I like that. I'd probably do. That's great. That's great. I either do. I've got two options. I've got all my punching the Nomu for the first time and flying and
Hmm.
smashing, or Deku when he sees Bakugo's face in the slime monster and then runs towards and starts clawing at the slime monster at that time.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Mm, mm.
Can I change my answer?
Well, you can do anything. This is our podcast, okay? But what are we talking about today? What's on the agenda to get people excited and pumped up? What is on the agenda?
Guys, we are in the most current season of My Hero Academia, which, in my opinion, was the absolute craziest. The one that, and also the one that kind of intimidated me a little bit when we started this, because it's like, this is season 6. Like, every episode is important. Every episode has, like, where are we going to end? Are we just going to talk about all of season 6 at once? But I'm so excited because this is so much of the show has been leading up to season 6, and so many cool things that we've been waiting for so long finally come to fruition. And I love the writing, the direction. This is prime My Hero Academia.
Completely agree. It truly is. It's probably it's one of my favorite seasons as well. And by the way, we are live on TikTok as well. We've had Halfwood Scotsman send a rose, so thank you for the rose and thanks for listening. But you're right. Season 6 is absolutely incredible. It's incredible. And it's one of my favorite seasons. And where do we start off the conversation, Bjorvio?
So I think what we should do is we should start with pretty much where the season starts with the strike team on, I want to say Jakku Hospital, but that might not be right. But on the hospital, led by Endeavor with Mirko, Gran Torino, Aizawa, and those people, because that's really where, once that starts, and the first thing that they do is they find Garaki, the doctor, and Aizawa uses his quirk on him. And then the Nomu attack. It's kind of like that saying that I used to say all the time where there, if you really want to end a conversation, you say, and then the wolves came and walk away.
Oh.
So in this case, it's, and then the Nomu came.
What's the reaction you get when you say that to people?
Wait, what? What? What wolves? What wolves? And then you just turn around and walk, and they're like, what wolves are you talking about?
No, that was a cool scene, and for me, I thought, okay, the heroes have it in the bag. They've got this. They've got this under wraps.
Right.
They've got Endeavor. They've got incredible heroes. They've got the element of surprise. And they come in there, and they just start tearing things up. And the only resistance they had initially was the doctor. Like, come on, subdue him, for goodness sake. Um,
Right.
and it's quite weird that a Razorhead. I'm not sure if this was earlier or later, but when he uses his quirk on the doctor and the doctor turns old, his quirk that he got from All for One, obviously, is that he remains young forever, or he's got like a youth
I
quirk.
I think actually that's his original quirk that All for One copied, but I might be mistaken. It just basically doubles his lifespan, is what it comes down to, I think, is what he said. I don't know. I don't remember it being super specific.
I like that one. I like that one. Now, amongst all those heroes that were there to take over the hospital, who's your favorite? Who's on the top of the list for you?
I mean, Daddy Zawa is always top tier. Any scene he's in, Aizawa is just, he's incredible. But I think Crust, also the Shield hero, is a really cool addition that we don't really get to see a whole lot of, but he's there. But let's talk about Mirko.
Oh, please, please.
I How cool was she? How cool was she? I mean, she's just jumping around and kicking and doing all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, oh, she's got a bunny quirk. How good is that? I mean,
I'm
did you think that or was that just me?
No, I thought the exact same thing. She is absolutely wonderful. And the fact that, she's got a cool look. She's got that incredible power, but her mental fortitude and her mental strength is definitely where she shines. Her
Mm-hmm.
her voice actor, I can't pronounce her name, but she's coming to New Zealand, and I'm considering flying up to Auckland just to see her. But she's coming to New Zealand
Ooh,
very soon in August. And yeah, she did a really good job voice acting as well.
she did.
But great quirk, great mental strength. She reminded me a little bit her attitude of like a nicer, slightly nicer version of Bakugo. What's your thoughts on that?
I do think she'd be a nicer version of Bakugo, because she's got that same attitude, and you kind of get when she's talking out loud, you really get to hear like I love that she's saying it out loud of like, oh, all of my instincts are telling me to run, so I'm gonna smash that thing. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna ignore being a bunny. I'm just gonna do what I need to do. And what's crazy, she takes on several high-end Nomus by herself, gets like impaled in multiple limbs, and keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, that the amount of mental fortitude you must have. Oh my gosh. Like I couldn't.
Oh my goodness, I don't think many people could. Um, the majority of people who couldn't, because those Nomus were at the same level as the one who attacked Endeavor. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
They were smart. They had the same level of strength and speed. They had different capabilities and strengths they could regenerate, and she kept going. Absolutely incredible. And she got to a point where she decided to smash the cylinder that Shigaraki was in.
Yeah.
And the move that she made to get to that point and finish it off and smash it was was amazing. That I forget what her kick was called, but going down with her heel, eventually smashing it was it could have been the savior of the heroes. It could have saved the heroes and the world, and Dark Deku would never have existed.
Right. She's so stinking incredible. And while we're I hate to kind of pivot gears, but we also now you know what? No, we'll stay on this for a little bit, but I do want to talk about the other strike team at some point. But the thing that's so cool about Mirko is like she just doesn't give up. And then when the other heroes come back and like Endeavor's down there, Azawa's down there, and them having to fight these high ends, like Endeavor's basically holding him off on his own. Crust kind of helps out some. Um, but also we get to see one of them target Aizawa, which is
Mm.
utterly crazy to me because he's like, it figures out that Aizawa's the reason it can't use his quirk. So it's like, oh, well, I could smash him, but he's pretty heavily guarded. So I'm just going to stay out of his line of sight. And I'm like, oh, we're in trouble now.
Yeah, because they're super smart and they've got, they're not only strong and can regenerate, they're not mindless. They're smart, they can grow, they can learn. It's almost like, it reminds me of like a very advanced AI. And it's almost where I
Mm-hmm.
see the future taking us. Because this podcast is about, it's Doomsday Preppers podcast, isn't it? So we have to
I
prepare
mean,
before.
basically, I mean, that's why I have this water here.
I can imagine us, okay? You're Bakugo. No, you can be Deku. I'll be Bakugo, and I can see us in America or New Zealand protecting people from AI robots that are similar to the Nomus. Now, we'd lost. Let's. I've got a question for you. All right, me and you in our current state, no weapons, versus one of those Nomus. How long do we last?
No weapons, no abilities, no nothing. I'm going to give us the benefit of the doubt. And I'm going to say we can, in a neutral environment, under the best conditions, 10 seconds.
That's reasonable. Yeah, because we might be able to dodge one attack, maybe.
Yeah.
But not two or three. That's a good one. All right, now moving to the other strike team. And who is that led by again?
One of the most underrated heroes in My Hero Academia, and that is Ed Shot.
Yep. Yep. And that strike
But
team has some incredible. Yeah, what were you saying?
well, I think you're going the same way. So I'll go ahead. Go ahead.
The strike team has some incredible people in it. Like it has Dinky. Doesn't have you Ravity, Froppy. Who am I missing?
Hawks,
Hawks.
Fat Gum,
Fat Gum.
Tokoyami,
Yes, some amazing
Mount
people.
Lady, Cementos.
Oh, yeah, great team, very scary team, and a team that I thought would completely take out that facility. Um,
Right. Especially with the coolest Kaminari scene ever, where you think, oh man, these guys are going to get taken out. And who saves the day? But Class 1A's resident goofball with the super dope quirk, Denki Kaminari, runs out while thinking of Jiro, holds up that finger, and goes, that's one big bad boss person rendered useless or powerless. I don't remember what the exact line was clearly, but that was such a cool scene. Right after Cementos just blew the walls off the place, literally, and they charge in. And then we get one of the saddest scenes, in my opinion, in My Hero Academia, when it cuts to Twice being surrounded by Hawks' feathers.
yeah, extremely sad. Twice is one of my favorite villains, and I think he could have been a good hero if he didn't have the mental illness that he does. I think he does have quite a bit of mental illness, obviously, and it's just also sometimes circumstances where they're born, who they're born to, who their parents are can change a person for the negative, and yeah, very very sad. Um, that he gets slashed by hawks. He can't. But it makes sense. You know, Hawks, I don't think Hawks could have turned him to the hero's side, and Twice is too much of a risk for the heroes. He could have stopped um that whole attack if he wanted to by creating a whole army of himself. Did you did
Yeah,
you did you tear up?
I did. Because I remember this at this point, I had already read it in the manga, and the thing was, it wasn't at the time that I read it, it wasn't super clear to me whether Hawks actually did or didn't kill him. But then when Dobby said something, I was like, oh, no, he actually did. And that kind of made me tear up because, you know, when Gene's talking to Hawks and saying, like, he's talking about his friends and this and that, and then he tries to give Toga her hanky back, and he's like, this is the best I could do. I'm sorry. I tried to save everyone, but I'm out of time. I'm out of time, basically. This is, and it was like, man, Gene Bubakawara was one of my favorite characters in My Hero. I love Twice. He has a really great story, and you're right. He would have made he. What's crazy about him is he has very similar motivations to the heroes.
Mm.
He wants to protect his friends. That's his number one goal. And to be betrayed so many times, first by Overhaul, now by Hawks, it's like you feel for the guy, and
Mm.
I it was kind of crazy, and the fact that Dobby was there too, and Dobby makes some comment about my tear ducts are burnt up. I can't cry even if I wanted to. Like, here's my question: would Dobby have cried over Hawks's? I'm sorry, over Twice's death?
For sure, for sure. I mean, Darby doesn't cry over much, and he's got a lot wrong with his life. But I think him and Twice had a good relationship. I think they were good
Hmm.
friends. I think he probably considered him to be a brother, and and Darby taking his righteous anger out on Hawks. That's a real negative for Hawks, destroying his
Hmm.
feathers like he did. Um, and Dark Shadow, uh, Tokuyami, is that his name?
Yes, Tokoyami.
Tokuyami, how he gets, he almost senses. I'm not sure if it's a bird sense or a sixth sense or something like that. he he hears the tweet of Hawks is really suffering and struggling, and I like that he disobeyed. It made his character a little bit stronger in my eyes, and it added a lot to his character. He's got that empathy, he's got that compassion for other people. He will step out of line to help his friends, and he went in there, he grabbed Hawks, he took him out, and he saved his life. He could have easily, it was very close. In a matter of seconds, Hawks could have completely died and left, just like Twice did, but he didn't. So that was a really nice moment, and it made me appreciate his quirk, and his mental attitude a lot more. What happened next, Bjorvio?
We get there's more things that we'll talk about. One of them's pretty short, but it is the most important scene in this series, and especially in season 6 of My Hero Academia, where Fat Gum is running back being Fat Taxi, and the ice guy erupts from the thing, knocking over Mount Lady. And Fat Gum looks up and sees she's falling and goes, "Booty incoming!"
That was a cool moment, and it created a lot of memes, didn't it? Like
Yes.
it's like she should have been quick enough. Her quirk power should have been strong enough to change back to maybe a small version straight away, but she didn't. She's obviously too. I didn't necessarily have a tremendous amount of respect for Mount Lady. I always thought, oh, she just I remember a few cases. The fact that she goes and she tries to get that food for free. She's all about money and taking advantage of other people for the sake of her power. But the scenes that we'll talk about a little bit later, she made me adjust the way I see her a little bit. And this is the start of it. Landing on Fat Gum with her big booty is the start, and I'm glad Fat Gum's got all that fat to protect him from that.
Right?
What
Because anyone else, that would have been a problem.
Massively, unless it's Red Riot, or that'll just been a thorn in her backside. What's the next thing you wanted to talk about?
The next thing is kind of where I think we'll leave it, where um, President Mike comes in and fully shatters what Shigaraki out, takes the doctor, and is running out, and has this laser beam guy kind of watch over Shigaraki. I almost called him Shiggy. I'm sorry without being sorry. And he's running out, and the doctor's giving this very ominous monologue. And yeah, what happens after that?
Well, it was just bad luck or good luck for Shiggy, um, where that big electric wire hit the ground, defibrillated Shigaraki's heart back on track, and he awakened. And and then I knew there was a game changer, and then I got scared for the heroes, and then I felt to myself, I think that's when the episode ended as well, and I thought to myself, I'm scared because he looked a lot stronger. He looked quite mean, and I like the way he looks now. I think he had a red cape on or something, or he had like a red thing on.
N Not quite yet.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so, but yeah, dude, same. I remember, up until this point, the heroes are just basically, I mean, they're having to do a hard fought match, but they're winning.
Hmm.
And everyone keeps saying, don't wake up Shigaraki, don't wake up Shigaraki. And then Shigaraki wakes up, and at this point, it's gonna be bad.
Heck
How
yeah.
bad? You're not quite sure yet, but it's gonna be bad.
All right, well, let's go on to improv then. That was great. That was great. Good starting episode about season 6. I think we covered things quite nicely, and we can't have improv today without Shiggy. I think Shigaraki needs to be in the improv. And would you mind doing the voice for us in this scene? What the scene that I'm depicting or picturing is almost like Shigaraki is in a job interview. I and the job is to work um at McDonald's. And
We love McDonald's on this podcast.
and I'm the fry cook, and not the fry cook. I'm the manager, and I ask you some questions about your history, and you've just, let's say it's after that battle in season 6, and all right, when we let's get into it. So so what did you say when what say your name was there? Is it what's your name again? How do you pronounce it?
It's pronounced Tomura Shigaraki.
Tamara Shigaraki. Nice to meet you. Now, are those things on your face? Are they tattoos? Because we have a bit of a policy here in Japan about tattoos, especially face tattoos. Are those tattoos or what wrinkles?
It's just my ambitions keep me up so late at night. They're just dark circles, if you will.
Okay, and why do you want to work at McDonald's, Tomura?
Well, you see, I'm trying to raise a few extra dollars in order to create a headstone for one of my friends that recently perished at the hands of a really disgusting hero.
That's interesting. Interesting reason. I never heard that before, but that's fine. You get a lot of different reasons for wanting to work. Now, what's your favorite meal here at McDonald's, Tamura?
Well, that's quite easy. You see, growing up, I always was a fan of chicken nuggets, to the point where my master called them shiggy nuggets.
Nice. I think we might change it. I might take that up to head office and give that a bit
Oh,
of a
you
change.
will change that if you want to live.
Okay, yeah, I like your passion. You're very passionate. I love that passion. Where does that passion stem from?
Oh, it stems from all this wretched hatred of this horrible superhuman society. I just need to tear it down and start all over.
Okay, well, what do you think your we've got a lot of different people here, a lot of different quirks, and some people use quirks to help them be better at their role. Now, do you think your quirk, what is your quirk firstly, and do you think it'll help you in your role as fry cook here at McDonald's?
Oh, absolutely. You see, there's nothing. How many times have you had customers complain about their service not being any good?
All the time.
It's really annoying, right? Just
Yeah.
something that you'll never really get over. Well, my quirk will allow that to no longer be an issue, as I'll just decay them, so it'll never happen again.
I like your style, Tamura. I like your style. You're hired. Can you start on Monday?
I can start whenever you need me to. I just cleared out my schedule quite a bit.
Great. He'd be a very scary McDonald's worker, and but he'd be great because all the scraps he'll be easy to clean up. Imagine disintegrating all the grease around the kitchen and the rubbish, and I think he'd be a good worker.
Right?
Mm.
Right. I definitely. However, that being said, I if my order was messed up, I definitely would just eat it anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good job. Let's close out this wonderful episode. Thank you everyone for listening. Like Tomara said in the beginning, rate, review, and share this around if you like the conversation, if you like My Hero Academia, and you like listening to it and hearing our beautiful impersonations from Bjorvio. Now, and my impersonation of a McDonald's worker. Could you take us out with Deku's voice,
Sure. Hey, that. Hang on. There we go. This place isn't safe for all you people. Thank you for we appreciate you turning it and listening to the Anime Dudes podcast. We hope you enjoyed our time, but this area is not safe. You need to get at least a few blocks away. I've heard the heroes like Endeavor are really struggling over there, so please, this is no place for civilians. Go find my friend with the exploding hands and the bad temper. He'll take good care of you. In the meantime, tune in next week for a brand new episode.